Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we are continuing our coverage of 4 different manufacturers in Lancer with SSC. SSC is a manufacturer focused on high technology and luxury at a cost of the mech's durability and sustaining power. To that end, I've decided to take a look at the Dusk Wing as their emblematic mech. The Dusk Wing is another size half mech, which means it's going to have the standard 6 HP for that size of mech. However, unlike the Caliban previously, the Dusk Wing has no armor, and instead relies on its base evasion of 12 and its speed of 6 to stay alive, which are the highest base evasion and speed on all frames in the game. On the flip side, however, it only has a standard heat defense of 8 and a heat cap of 4 and a repair capacity of 3, which are both the second lowest values found on frames in Lancer, meaning that while the Dustwing can be incredibly resilient against physical attacks with its high base evasion, its low HP and low heat capacity means that if something manages to get through, it's going to deal a lot of damage proportionally, and its repair capacity of 3 means that the Dustwing is going to find it incredibly hard to repair back up if it's ever taken a hit in a fight. Of course, equipping longer range weaponry will help the Duskwing stay out of trouble as much as it can, and with a solid sensors range and a +1 tech attack bonus, it's going to be pretty decent at launching out those tech attacks if that is something you want to lean into. In addition, its traits also includes an innate hover speed, which means it can fly and maintain flight without having to constantly run laps in the air, as well as the ability to turn invisible on its turn, which only further goes to help the Duskwing stay out of the range of enemies and harry them and escape if it happens to find itself in a bad situation. As a controller support mech, it only boasts a double lux mount and a flex mount, meaning that while you're going to get some respectable weaponry, you aren't going to be dealing out loads of damage as other frames might be. Finally, its core power, when activated, allows you to leave behind explosive holograms whenever you move that detonate whenever a hostile character interacts with it or moves next to it in any way. You can also, as a quick action, teleport to one of those holograms and detonate all of the remaining holograms in the field, hopefully destroying any enemies caught up in the blast. All of this leads to a mech that is extremely feast or famine, with the highest base evasion in the game and the ability to reach the evasion cap of 20. It is certainly possible for the Dustwing to flit about the battlefield with ease, essentially ignoring all but the most concentrated incoming fire. However, if it ever gets stuck in a bad situation and takes even 1 or 2 hits, it's liable to get structured and or stressed almost immediately with very little capacity to recover. And while its core power certainly is good at dealing damage and increasing the flexibility of the Dustwing, if somehow you get slowed, you get grappled, or you get crowd controlled in some similar way, the core power becomes entirely useless. So, moving on to what you receive on each license level, starting at LL1 you get the Veil Rifle, which is a line rifle that deals pretty small damage for a main rifle, however has the unique effect of granting allies that you hit soft cover instead of damaging them, as well as the Neurospike, which is a upgrade to the basic invade action, which is essentially the basic sort of tech attack that allows you to infiltrate hostile systems. Whenever you make the invade, you get to choose one of a variety of effects depending on what systems you have, and the neuro spike allows you to either deal extra heat to the target if they attack, or force them to treat you or an ally as invisible until the end of their next turn. At LO2, we as always get the frame itself, as well as the burst launcher, which is another main weapon this demo launcher, which also deals pretty low damage for its class, but inflicts one heat to the target, and on a critical hit, so if your attack roll totals 20 or more, your target becomes impaired until end of turn, inflicting one difficulty upon any action they try to take. Now, the one heat usually isn't that great, as since heat is essentially a separate health bar. Unless you're stacking heat on an enemy, it kind of doesn't do anything. However, as a controller support mech, the Dusk Wing is very capable of turning into a machine that is capable of dealing large amounts of heat to enemies. We also at LO2 get the Flicker Field Projector, which just whenever we make a boost or a standard move, become invisible until the next time you're attacked, further increasing the Dusk Wing's ability to stay alive via evasion and avoidance of enemy fire, rather than by actually taking damage. And finally, at LO3, we pick up the Stun Crown, which is a limited system that allows us to, twice a mission, create bursts of light, potentially jamming and impairing any hostiles within a burst 3 of us, as well as the Oasis Wall, which, when activated, essentially creates a shimmering energy barrier behind us when we move that provides hard cover and resistance to energy. So, in summary, the Dusk Wing is an extremely flexible mech that can be taken in a lot of different ways by its pilot. Just in its own license alone, we have systems and weapons that help support our allies, that inflict some pretty nasty debuffs on enemies, and that increase our own survivability and evasion. Because of that, it's easy to take the Dusk Wing in a multitude of different directions. You could become a long-range harasser, trying to pick up a better gun from a different license, and using your speed, mobility, and invisibility to stay out of the range of enemies. You could become a more offensive tech attacker, picking up different systems that allow you to lay down debuffs onto opponents to control them and make it easier for your allies to kill them. Or you can lean into being a support, attempting to protect and boost up your allies around you rather than focusing on your own outputs. All of these and even combinations of these are possible with Dusk Wing. There is, however, one talent I think all Dusk Wing pilots should at least take a look at, and that is Ace. Because Ace talent grants bonuses when you are flying, which essentially all increase your mobility and flexibility around the battlefield. And as a frame focused on mobility and flexibility, as well as the only frame currently in the game which comes with an innate no downside fly speed, the Ace talent is uniquely suited for the Dusk Wing to take advantage of. However, that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed this look into SSC's design paradigm by way of their Dusk Wing frame.